That was Ben Starr.
All right. Everyone, first things first, you saw that correctly. Marathon will be releasing just later this year on September 23rd, so you'll be able to ship out to Tau City very shortly. And in addition to that, coming just later this month on April 23rd, we're going to be running a closed alpha test that you can be a part of. Now, as a quick heads up, this is going to be focused on North America, 18 plus only. So there's going to be a big chance to play up front, but don't worry, there's going to be other opportunities to play later. So to make sure you're caught up with all the details and you're ready to go, do yourself a favor, head over to our Discord at discord.gg/marathonthegame. And of course,
there's a new YouTube link.
With us today, you've already done yourself a
Sorry that everything crashed. I'm going to have to end up rewatching that because I saw like 12 seconds of that.
To drop codes to as well to make sure that you can get priority access when the alpha kicks off. So go ahead and keep an eye out on your inbox. There's no exclamation point drops or anything you need to do, though I'm sure folks will do it anyway. But worry not, you've gone ahead and done yourself a favor by being here today. But let's get into it. What did we just see?
A lot of death, you know, is first what we all saw. But honestly, you saw a first glimpse of some of what's going on in Marathon, you know, our extraction shooter that we're creating over here. And it's got a little bit of everything.
I love whenever somebody types in drops.
It's got some weapons in there. It's got some crazy stuff happening, but yeah.
Yeah, a little taste of the weapons in there. You saw some alternate weapon actions. The flip scope is in there, so weapons are going to do more than just shoot, obviously.
Hey, Daniel Z, what up, Graham?
You gotta, like, really push things. Yeah, a lot of runner abilities are in there as well. The UESC, obviously a little taste of the UESC and what they're capable of. Yeah, a lot of awesome stuff.
And some fun world interactions too. Like there's that sequence where the shutters go down and then everything goes wrong for the team that's in that room. But that's, yeah, it's pretty cool to see those things.
Yeah, everything goes wrong, the Andy Salisbury story. Mr. Ziegler, so why are we making Marathon? Why is Bungie going into the extraction shooter space?
I mean, extraction shooters are something that are a passion of all of ours. Like, we really like the idea of
Mario Rivera, what up, big dog, 33 months.
Which is this kind of intense survival-based experience where you are frequently unsure of what's going to happen next, but you're on that adventurous ride of it. You know, it's like, we talk about it sort of like it's a horror story that's kind of unfolding before you, and testing yourself to see if you can survive it. And we really wanted to take that and sort of, I don't know, bring a lot more people into it. When you love something, you really kind of want to just, you know, attract others to it, and so you can have a bigger party with it. And so, yeah, we've been doing a lot of work to make that happen.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it shows. And, you know, Lars, obviously, Bungie's got a long history of shooters, but this is a new type altogether for us to dive into.
No, I don't have codes. I'm not cool.
It's been fantastic.
I'll be getting a code.
When I started at Bungie, it was on the multiplayer team. And I am a competitive person in my nature. I really enjoy
I'm going to
PvP.
open up Valkyrie's stream.
And so having to take that in the Marathon game and think about every single angle of every design, knowing that there will be other human beings in, around, and on the other side
go to their Discord.
Fascinating and really exhilarating for myself personally, and I also know for the team.
It's been really exciting to see.
I think what
obviously you mentioned we saw a lot. We saw some
what I'm most excited about is to rewatch the gameplay. So stick around if you want to watch my full reaction to that Marathon gameplay snippet.
At launch, but we're
So I was getting the YouTube stream back up. God damn
in the alpha.
Stupid
so going
fucking
left to
OBS.
right, we have Locust. Locust is our soldier kind of fantasy, our soldier kit, all about push forward gameplay, right? The first one in, trying to get as many picks as possible, right? Against either the UESC or other players. Next, we have Blackbird. It's a very reconnaissance-based kit, all about like figuring out where players and enemies are in general and punishing poor positioning. Glitch is like our agile disruptor kind of kit, all about pushing forward, disrupting enemy teams and what they're doing and getting out.
This is the cleanest looking shit. This is the cleanest looking art ever.
Stealth boy, our sneaky boy, all about throwing down smokes, going a full active camo cloak, into the darkness, getting some reses, and then taking some people by surprise. So yeah, this is our core 4 right now for Alpha.
Exciting. A lot of different play styles to choose from out of the gate. And even furthermore, Joe Cross, also, if anyone's not following Joe Cross on Twitter, do yourself a favor and do so. But you've been sharing some art with these runners pretty recently out there on Twitter with everyone. You know, before the show, we were talking a little bit, and I've heard this come up a lot, but you know, you guys have been working off of this concept of graphic realism. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and what that means for the design?
Yeah, and why it's the most.
It's one of our
why it's the best art style we've seen in
conjured up to help us define the
years and years.
For these runners, you know, the first thing we wanted to make sure was their visual fantasy reflected the gameplay fantasy well. And then we sort of have our unique recipe of influences and inspirations for the reimagining of this world.
Hey, Furls, thanks for resubscribing with Prime.
One of the sort of constraints we've created is this idea
Appreciate you,
of
Furls.
realism, where we kind of reduce the amount of geometry, we limit our materials, we use a lot of graphic design and color, and we sort of use it as a tool to onboard artists who are working on the project, and then it doesn't hurt to have a world-class concept team cranking this stuff out. That's sort of the origin of a lot of these designs.
Yeah. And obviously the world of Marathon has so much legacy to it as well. As a kid who grew up playing it, I know it well myself. But what's it been like stepping into this world?
Quiz the God, Ennui Dread. Thanks for resubscribing.
Art geeks out there, the sort of the father of the Marathon visual world in a lot of ways is this guy Craig Mullins, who you see art represented on the left. Started out as a fan. Then got incorporated into the IP officially by Bungie, and so his legacy looms super large.
How sick is that?
We've always tried to, pay attention, pay homage, make sure we were doing justice. And you can see here in the center, this is kind of a proto-runner.
That's so cool.
We developed early in the process to make sure that, our sort of approach to graphic realism and style lined up and sort of represented that. And then on the right here, sort of an evolution into one of our actual runners here, Blackbird, with a similar fantasy and composition. So I think it's working out well, and I think we're doing something new, but also sort of looking back.
It's like a 3-panel study on how to hold the spine, right? Is what you're looking at. Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah.
Is it a spine?
I don't know. It could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that said, if anyone out there in Twitch chat as well has any questions, go ahead and drop them in. We're going to try and answer as many as we can. We're going to be showing, again, a lot of stuff today. So if you've got anything that comes to mind, please feel free to throw it in there. Folks on the community team are going to be keeping an eye out. But, we've obviously got a chance to go ahead and dive a little deeper. We've done some telling. Let's go ahead and do some more showing by taking a bit of a deeper dive into some more Marathon gameplay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Would love to see the video game. Why isn't this in 4K, y'all? Come on!
Marathon is a team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4. You are a runner.
Tell me all about it, Ben.
A cybernetic mercenary who's given up their human form for a biosynthetic shell with unique abilities and stats, capable of both tactical and fast-paced combat. Here you'll fight in a crew of up to 3 players across a variety of zones and points of interest. You'll face rival runners in zones of up to 18 players, countless security forces, and otherworldly threats. To scavenge the remains of a lost colony for glory and fortune.
But first we'll find our brother Joshua.
Are filled with weapons, materials, and equipment you can scavenge throughout the map. Before deploying, you'll strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure you're equipped for the run ahead. Your objective is simple. Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for grabs. Survive, and your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault. Death is inevitable, but it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet and outplay your opponents. And in your next run, you and your teammates will be the ones coming out on top.
God, dude, everything about the UI just looks so freaking good.
Factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight. Bungie brings its best-in-class first-person multiplayer action to the forefront. Dynamic and tactile gunplay. Runners with unique playstyles and customizable builds create highly dynamic and strategic.
Oh, that dude just got shit on.
Whether you're on a zero-to-hero run or high-rolling with powerful gear, you'll need to use your best judgment when you decide which fights to pick and how. Because no matter how geared you are, players with skill and strategy will always have the edge. Marathon is designed to be played in crews, with contextual pings, shared objectives, and down but not out, to streamline playing with your friends. Death is not the end. And if you're the last one standing, you can overcome the odds to revive your teammates and get out with your hard-earned loot. And if you believe your skills alone are enough to conquer any challenge, we give you the freedom to opt out
shit
the
on.
crew fill, to take all the glory for yourself as a solo runner.
So, kind of confirmed.
No two runs
I
in
mean, well,
Marathon
not kind
ever
of.
play out the same. With dynamic events, variable weather, and unpredictable players, you'll have to adapt on the fly if you want to survive. Each run has a time limit, and anything can happen while you're chasing your objective. Looking to unlock upgrades or increase your faction reputation? Slip into the shadows as Void and ghost past your enemies.
I'm looking to
Search the
upgrade
map for rare materials and profit opportunities without being discovered.
character cosmetics.
Want to push enemy teams and steal their loot? Bring in Glitch with agility implants and your strongest weapons to disrupt rival crews. Running support for your friends, grab extra equipment,
I
shield
love-
charges, and a specialized backpack to be the lifeline they need.
The shading kind of has like a cell shading look almost. Like
You're
the
always free to
shadows have a
experiment with
cell
team
shaded look.
compositions, and the only limit to how you want to play your runner is your loot and imagination. Endgame challenges, ranked play, discovering secrets, seasonal storytelling, community events, and more all await you in Season 1, where you and your friends will start to unravel the mysteries of Tau Ceti 4.
Dude, this look is just so nice.
You're only ever one run away from your next big score.
Yeah, ranked play? How is that?
All right. It's a decent amount of gameplay. All right. Let's get into breaking this down. So I think for starters, again, as we touched on before the break, Bungie has such a rich history with Marathon. Joe Cross, from your standpoint, facilitating this gameplay with your art style, again, what was it like kind of approaching this from your perspective? What were you looking to do?
Build on a legacy. The narrative of Marathon is incredibly rich and like inspirational, easy sort of inspiration for art. I also love just sort of having the keys to this car from this era, working on a game from this era. I love older games. I love the way the games look from the PS1, PS2 era. So there was a lot for us, and like I said, paying homage to some of the great sort of iconic artists of the time. So
yeah. And also we had some keen-eared folks in chat. I think it's Joey Wolffinder asked if this is Ben Starr. Yep, Ben Starr was the narrator of that piece. Excellent ear.
Great voice, right?
Yeah, super cool. Yeah,
Wonderful voice.
He's almost an Andrew Witz, but he does his best. But all right, I'm gonna put you on the spot with a tough one, Mr. Joe Ziegler.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite runner?
Ooh, controversial question. I play a variety of them, but I will say probably the one I end up playing the most is Blackbird. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Any Blackbird mains out there? I like playing Blackbird because it's a great crew runner. Like it's in terms of being able to provide a lot of.
Still extremely sad
It's also a great runner
that there's no creative character.
Can occur, especially ambush strategies that happen. Also to catch Void out of position if Void's trying to hide. So yeah, there's a lot of versatility to how you can play it.
Very fun, Mr. Witz. I think you and I share the same main. I got to ask as well. Who's your go-to runner?
Oh, I split my time between Locust. I'm a very
have to have
push-forward kind of player.
heavy character
as Joe reminds
customization
me all the time.
if you're not going to have a character
too
creator.
much,
You
too
don't
often.
even have a W key. It just goes.
I just love to go fast forward. That's right.
Yeah.
And so, that push forward gameplay that Locust kind of has, right? Being like the first to try and get a pick.
Oh, they released a
seeing somebody
4K
out of
video of the
position, go with
overview?
that pick.
Oh.
Also,
Hey,
I like to
gamers,
play
we're gonna
Glitch a lot,
rewatch-
too. Again,
We're rewatching everything in 4K.
just finding
mainly for the
an enemy crew
YouTube bot
trying
because
to,
everything crashed in the middle of it.
Trying to extract and then like taking like the arm cannon and just knocking them out of like the zone, and now they're trapped with me and hopefully my teammates. Joe.
I'm scanning. I'm looking for enemies. It's good, yeah.
To that same end, actually, as you guys kind of discuss the runners, Destas in chat asks, what's the pacing targets to the gameplay? Are there any movement or traversal mechanics?
There are a lot of movement and traversal mechanics inside of the game, but it varies. Your effectiveness varies per runner. Yeah.
Yeah, like everything in like we're making like a survival sandbox, which means everything kind of has to have a cost, right? And so like going, if you want to go fast, like if you want to go fast,
I remember
like,
that in car scene.
Locust has like a
There was that reek, the reek. There was the leak last year saying no character creator, and everybody was like, oh, I hope that's not true.
So basically, it's almost like a stamina system, but we call it heat because we're these awesome mercenary cyborgs, right? Where like the body overheats, and so this character has like some mobility, but you overheat quite a bit. So that's kind of the cost that's there, and so that's what pushes us into like finding implants that maybe like expand like how much like your heat meter and also give you more agility.
Sunny
so
Knowles,
go
thank you.
Even faster, right? So yeah, there's a lot.
Thank you, Yon Song, Matthew Wake, Ken Pokes Barbie, and Waterboy for subscribing.
It's like, how does this affect the pace, and how does this affect the overall survival sandbox?
And to be fair, we're still looking at the alpha builds. We got to balance a lot of stuff because some stuff is kind of sketchy. Yeah.
No, it's no, he has a lot to learn. That's why we're doing.
Thank you so much, Sunny.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, while we're talking about kind of those finer details, which I'd love to still kind of bug you a little bit, in marathon build crafting is a big deal. What does that mean in the world that you guys are building?
Yeah, and so like the runners are essentially like a base, right? And so each runner has, they have a bunch of implants that you can kind of find that do kind of wild things.
Yeah,
and
here we
as
go.
they go up in rarity, right? There's a lot of stats, so you can increase your resistance to certain things. So like Tox is one, so you can essentially be poisoned, right, as our Tox. And so you can build up resistances to that. You can increase your agility. There's shields, obviously, to make you a bit more durable. We have cores. Cores are really cool. They basically give you like extra passives. And at the base rarity, like they have these kind of passives that you kind of play around. At the highest rarity, they are specific to the runner kit that you have, the runner you're playing. And what they do is they really augment your abilities wildly, right? So you can, you're doing one thing and then you get like a core specifically for glitch, and now you're like, oh, my double jump is a triple jump? Like that's how much we want to kind of push that, so that gear really matters. And so builds are like completely the implants, the cores, weapons, weapon attachments. Weapons have like a pretty cool progression too. We have gold mods, which are kind of like the highest end of the attachment pool. They're essentially like exotics in our game, right? What is the exotic version of this Magnum that can do some wild stuff? So yeah, like really it's the entire package together is what the build crafting experience is in Marathon.
That's super exciting. And actually, to that same end, we got a question in chat as well from, I think, Firex is how you pronounce it. How many players are going to be in each map?
Varies per map.
Yeah, it varies per map.
Got it.
The footage that people have seen a lot of, Dire Marsh, we support up to 18 players.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So going to be room for a lot of play styles. To that same end, I know we talked a little bit about Void earlier as well. Lars, can you walk us through maybe just your play style when you're approaching any of these runs?
Sure. Yeah.
So 6 squads.
I have to give away
3
my
squads.
secret.
No, 6 squads of 3.
So Void is really fun for me because it leans into this part of my personality that is like very devious. And so, if you go on a run with me, I'll be like, hey, any claymores you see, let me know. And I'm putting those in my backpack, and I'm doing crazy things like, okay, so Void has a prime ability that sends out, I think you saw it in the video, it sends like a wall of smoke that sort of like your home base when you do that, it's a portable. Because when you go in that, you become invisible, you get automatic active camo. So I'll do things like set that up to make people believe I'm doing one thing and then do another. So a lot of subversive things. I'll go in there and I'll claymore the inside, right? Someone comes in after me, they're gonna have a very bad time. But I also do things like I'll go to a place in the zone where there's high tier loot and I'll claymore it up and then close all the doors and leave and be like, I wonder if anyone's gonna show up. And then sure enough, maybe 5 minutes later I see the shield crack in the HUD and I'm like, yes, I can go back and see what's going on. So yeah, that's how I like to play.
Yeah. How about you, Joe Cross? What's your go-to?
if you know me, I'd rather.
What up, chicken wings? I love the art style. Obviously, it's the main reason why I'm here. But also, it's a new Bungie shooter. You can't not be in the industry and kind of. It is a big deal, right?
As far as my play style,
Bummed out there's no character creator.
Just a decoy.
We knew that was likely going to happen.
Joe, go over there.
But
Look really great.
because it's Bungie,
So that's it's the end
this
of my
kind of reminds me what was happening with when Blizzard was going to put out that survival game, where it's like, look, there's a lot of other survival games. There's a lot of other early access type things, but Blizzard could have that Blizzard polish. There's a lot of extraction shooters. I'm not saying Tarkov is an early access kind of like Tarkov is the best of all of them, right? But there's always new extraction shooters, but I'm excited to see Bungie's take on what it would
I think
be.
it's like I'm safe, like I'm kind of doing like a routine thing. I can get in and get out if I'm like smart about it and really kind of listen for what's going on. Like there's no UESC.
Oh, you're
around,
not a
there's no
fan of this
players
art
around.
direction? Dude,
and
it's like-
oftentimes there's another player.
it's the main
like,
reason
best
I'm
moments is
here.
There's another crew that are going for the exact same thing, and there's this moment of like you're about to
And I
turn
love
the key to
shooters.
get into a locked room, and then the other team is right there, and you're like, oh crap, like, and then you're like, this is all-out war in like a hallway that seems to be like a regular hallway, but now it's just like it just gets crazy.
Dude, we
So I think
streamed
those
Hunt
things
Showdown
that
one
happen
time.
where there's these
It was a
tense
freaking
moments
blast.
You're trying to do something that lead to these very quick crescendos. Where
I wish we played more of that. I think Nick and Mike are gonna get heavy into Tarkov, and I may try to join them for a bit,
Believe me or not.
because that's like, for it being the main, most popular extraction shooter, it's the only one I haven't played. I've played of like 4 or 5 other extraction shooters.
Right? Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, runs can obviously entail a lot, but we also have a question from Sharky218. Is loot going to be just weapons, or is there going to be more for people to go after while they're out there in Tau City?
Oh, Kenji,
there's a ton of
There's a ton of
them.
them,
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong for
there's
thinking
cores,
Destiny looks
there's
bad. I think Destiny
equipment,
is.
there's
Grenades.
consumables.
I will sing from the mountaintops
Yeah,
how
there's
beautiful
grenades.
Destiny is at every moment.
We have a bunch of different types of grenades in the game as well that you can loot in the world. We have valuables. We have backpacks. Yeah, attachments, weapons, materials, keys.
And there's a bunch of stuff too that we're just, we call valuables, but like there's times when you're running low on money and you're like, I just need to do a valuables run right now and I need to pick up these things and get my money, into my space bank. So.
Space Bank, yeah.
That actually is a good segue from, and I'm not making this name up, Ballin' Hobo asks, what do I do with the loot when I extract? Like, why does it matter in the long run?
Yeah, there's a variety of reasons. So a lot of it was related to sort of our factions and contract system.
This is your question right here,
Talk a little bit about
Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Asking about.
I mean, we've got this entire system.
If you find something too valuable, why risk losing it?
Contracts, they're like missions, and you are being greeted originally by a AI representative because you are a mercenary. You don't really have allegiance to anyone. They are going to pay you to do these jobs, and so they'll give you these missions.
Running
to
risk,
do.
yeah.
And as you're
There it
doing
is.
these missions, like Andrew said, sometimes you'll run into danger. But the cool thing about, I think, a lot of the faction and the contract system is like you could complete the, download the agricultural survey from this one area on one of the zones, and you're doing the thing, and you've sort of done it. So even if you die, you've still made progress there, which I think is a really cool aspect of that feature. But then there's also this other meta layer where as you're working with the different factions, they allow you to upgrade yourself over time, and so you can increase
Ken
your
Jr.,
healing
thanks for
meter,
getting
you
out
can
of sub.
increase your loot speed, things like that.
I
I was gonna say you're trying to get as much loot as possible to meet the challenge of the world, right?
Yeah.
Like essentially, different missions get harder over time, right? Which means you want to have more loot on you so you can survive longer, so just in general, be able to do fight all the different, hostile entities in the world, like get through there's a POI on a zone that's heavily fortified by UESC and all of the different units that are there, the snipers, the assault units, like you want to be able to not only withstand that and players. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to get loot again.
And honestly, like a lot of the loot translates into things like upgrades, that you utilize through the factions. But there's also an in-game store called the Black Market where you can use a lot
Same
of
day
your
as
currency and
Borderlands
things like that to actually re-equip yourself if you go on a bad run, or to upgrade yourself if you need anything from that space. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons to get a lot of good loot out.
Look, I don't think it's a rip because there's still a lot of people who say, I don't want PvP.
I'm just a loot goblin.
I don't want to encounter other goated players that are going to be slide canceling all over the place.
What are some of the things that you guys
Let me just play against the PC, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that we could talk about. One is we are obviously investing, besides doing a little bit more onboarding in the front end so players can understand a little bit about what the nature of the game mode is. We're also doing a lot to make combat something that's a little bit more approachable, but also just equally as deep and have pretty wide things. But I think Andrew could talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, we want to make, like, this is like a Bungie shooter, right? We want to make sure it's approachable. We like nail those fantasies. Every button press feels awesome, right? And so really trying to bring that kind of, like, morph the Bungie action game into, like, in the survival space where, again, everything kind of costs something, right? Getting shot, like, you're not going to have like a limb system where, like, you know, your limb's broken or anything, but you will, like, guns do.
How do they get 5 of the same guy in one room?
You got to sprint. They can slow you down, right?
You get a gifted sub for that GK.
Status effects are still in the game. And so if you are hit with a chem grenade, right, you're going to be toxed. You can be immobilized, right, which really slows you down. You can be overheated. There's all these things, and that pushes you into using consumables and making sure you have an answer for these things that happen. So we're trying to make sure that you keep the depth of the survival game, but the approachability of the action game, right? And so that's how we're trying to marry that together. And in addition to that, if you have some bad runs, right, like, and you don't have a lot of, you see your loot kind of going down, we have the sponsored kits, like it's kind of talking in the video earlier, where it's a package of gameplay items like weapons or equipment or maybe a shield or something or consumables. Yeah. That's kind of like the floor for what we think you can be really, like, you can be capable in the environment and actually, like, fight other players that actually are kitted out. So you're never feeling like,
before Andy
the
joined.
goal is that you can always clutch. Even if you find somebody who's completed kitted out in, like, really high-end gear, because that's your payday, right? That's like the beauty of the moment of, like, oh my God, I took this player, and oh, they have the best shield in the game. Hell yeah, you know.
Yeah.
YouTube chat. I'm going to gift away a hoodie over on Twitch. If you want a chance to win, you got to come to the Twitch chat. And if you have Amazon Prime, it helps you win more.
Hundreds of different creators in our community as well, to go ahead and get some of their feedback. So to those of you out there that have joined us, thank you very much for your time and your opinions. They mean a lot.
Thank you, Andy.
No need to listen to me talk about it. We actually just last week had a bunch of folks in here to go ahead and play test the very same alpha build that some of you will have a chance to join in on as well. So I vote I go ahead and let you tell them about it in their own words.
You kind of feel the blood pumping.
Lupo. Dude, I love this art style.
Down them all again and 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 again.
This is a new world. This is a different take on an extraction shooter.
No! No, they got out!
Type in exclamation point answer to try to win.
Changing. It is literally game changing.
In the Twitch chat. Bungie invited 40 creators and press to play test the alpha with the entire development team.
You are the first group outside of Bungie to play test our alpha build.
Specifically, we wanted nobody from Kinda Funny to be here. We really felt like they're all shitty at games. And that would lead to the best experience for all the playtesters here.
Okay, I am ready and up. Whenever you two are.
Yes, sir.
Ah, this looks so clean.
Oh, we are bringing some money in this time.
Quick read.
Oh, you looking around?
Yeah, I'm gonna see who we're gonna read with.
Alrighty. Bio research is right next to us. You want to do the intercept?
What up, West Bray?
Yeah.
You just want to grab that real quick?
Yeah, we can do that.
You want to get going?
Yep, Medro.
That should be a good one.
Even this run animation looks way more cartoony than
okay, there's
other stuff they've done.
For the gang, there is fall damage, and it is severe if you
there is. I got a mod earlier that, like, drastically reduces it, though. So there are ways to reduce it.
I may have just exploded my kneecaps.
If you dash right before you hit the ground, don't take
it saves it.
It'll break the fall, yeah.
Oh, if you dash before you hit the ground, cool.
AI on the right.
Oh man, dude, this. Oh god damn.
Yeah, more AI inside the little shrubbery compound over there.
Dude, this shit looks so clean. Wait. The person that I gifted a sub to.
Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry.
You're good.
Won the hoodie? What is going on?
Yeah, still heading to field maintenance.
Yep.
Something's happening with the system.
I got AI over here like crazy.
Something's happening with the system, I swear to God. Congratulations. That's awesome.
AI with a snipe up above is looking at me.
Dude, this ADS scope on whatever gun Lupo's using looks so cool.
There's a green punk right there.
There's 6 underneath.
Oh yeah, here I think.
Player.
Oh my God. Oh, see ya, Papa. Oh, see ya. Holy shit. Dude, this looks so fucking sick.
Either way, I'm getting shredded right now, so I gotta
Clear the AI outside first. They're just gonna beam us if we don't get rid of them.
Yep.
What?
That's a purple one.
Uh-oh.
Wait, the one that's at fire like 5 knees. Oh,
Big grenadiers, yeah. They're pretty.
Man, I'm just so blown away by the hardware.
What do you have on your little guy?
Oh, one of the guys you killed had just been wrapping his
By the hard surface sort of
Oh, mechanics here.
weapons look.
That's what we need, right?
Y'all gonna do the Gamecast talking about this? Yes, Spencer in the YouTube chat. We're talking about this on Monday.
Yeah, I'm inside with them. When you have the mechanics kit, it doesn't take anything. You're just good. Yeah. I'm unlocking the box. Yeah, dropping in. Big ones too.
This looks awesome. We just wish it was regular multiplayer, not objective-based stuff. I mean, I'm on the opposite side where I'm like, I wish there was just a PvE mode.
Oh. Yeah. That's gotta be.
I played one shield. There's a Lynx up there who's absolute. Oh my God, I almost that.
I just want another Division. I want another Division game.
Where are they?
They're on the balcony, like south 200.
I got one knocked.
Nice.
I need to watch this gameplay in 4K. Have they released that yet?
Annihilated, dude. Oh my God.
I'm out of ammo.
Yeah, Helldiver style mode would be crucial.
It's a Brian. Kill him. He's a fiend, dude.
I'm coming to you, Sven.
Yeah, I see him.
Don't underestimate this guy.
Oh shit.
He killed 2, I think it's 1v1.
I like that shield sprint, right? Just to kind of get out of a tough situation.
Good stuff. I literally only have a
right? I don't know why a square shield is so cool. And even the ADS, even this like little scope thing right here, because we expect modern
knock I had was over here.
Sci-fi UI. We expect the shield to look like this, you know? Like we expect it to look like that or something. It's just like
right there. Yep.
I like that it's different.
That's a guy. Yeah, he's holding the angle at a distance.
Sniped a sniper.
Yeah, right on me. This player. I mean, very weak up there.
Yeah, there's just something fun about taking on a really tough,
I'm underneath.
you know, designed challenge. Even, you know, the multiplayer parts of Destiny, I thoroughly enjoyed.
Knocked one.
Coming.
Got one left.
The blue blood is really cool, Sabretooth, I agree.
No, if they're close.
I got no tags. Oh.
There.
You got eyes?
Yeah, A1.
Is that him up there? he upstairs inside?
Yes, sorry, he was. Yeah, hit him.
Where's that USAC?
There's a USAC guy right there.
They were shooting something in there.
Oh! Beat his ass! Was that a computer player? Oh no, that's a...
I think they kind of...
That's an AI.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty confident.
They built God squads, you could say. I feel like we might be the God squad.
That was good. That was a good run.
Yeah. We got knifed some AI.
Dr. Disrespecting Shambles watching Dr. Lupo. Being heavily featured.
Container key. Isn't there one of those around here?
Yeah, it's right here.
You better read my preview on stream. Tam, why would I when that would mean that less people would click on it? Okay, how about you just link that shit in here and we all click on it collectively, and then we slowly scroll down so that the ads properly display, so you get time per page, you know?
I knifed one.
But for real, link it. I only care about you.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this dude's like sucking up his juice. What the fuck?
UESC reinforcement signal detected.
I found a purple.
Why weren't you there, Andy?
I heavy knifed it
I
4
don't.
times
We just
and had to
we weren't
dump a
invited.
full mag into it.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't invited, also, but that sounds like that's major cope right there for me.
Yay.
I mean, a lot of people weren't there, so like, why do I even care? Why does it matter to me? You know?
I
don't care.
But I don't want it.
But here, take
Oh,
this.
long
Take
shot.
this.
I'm saved. What's the question marks again? That are on the map?
Oh, I think those are the flares, right?
Huh? Like
Invite got lost in LBG,
Cat
yeah.
flares?
yeah, I don't know.
Flares.
Yeah, Michael R. O'Leary, it seems, or Michael Lemos, it seems like they're doing a lot of. There will be tons of customization for the weapons.
One is broken.
I was number 41 on the list, damn.
One got a purple shield, I knocked one.
I knocked one.
Oh my gosh. Sniping looks so good. Oh, it looks so good.
Glitch is moving. Glitch is moving.
Behind, yeah, Glitch is behind you at the moment. White shield.
Oh, she's scared. She's scared.
I really need to see, do they have this in 4K yet? Sorry, I'm interrupting really important
very
stuff.
Nice. I called the purple.
Oh shit, they do have. They have it in 4K. Should we switch to 4K?
Yeah, I want the freaking purple.
Should we switch to 4K right now, chat?
Purple shield. Who has that?
Me.
The big items, the big drops, the stuff that's like really high value, they're like, I have to get this out.
Doesn't matter if I'm playing Lucas or Void or Glitch. If I've got a better aim, I'm gonna win.
Yeah, I want the freaking.
Oh, it's not in 4K, it's just an upload. Son of a bitch, never mind. God damn it.
Okay, great. Wait, we can.
It's not in 4K. Shit.
Towards bio, right?
Dadgummit.
We ought to bring a sniper.
They tricked my ass.
All right, so obviously, having those creators in was a whole lot of fun. Getting to work with both creators and players alike has been a privilege. It's been a great time getting to set that up. And of course, I promise I'm not saying this just because I work on the social media team here. But
4K wouldn't change anything for us, I don't think. But Mr. Showtime, the bitrate would be cleaner still.
So youtube.com @MarathonTheGame is where to find us. Also, same with all of our other socials, as long as I'm at it.
It wouldn't look sharper, but
Lars,
movement
obviously,
would look
again, like
cleaner.
we talked about before that video, we're familiar with working with our community really closely, but have we ever done it this early or at this scale before?
So I've been at Bungie for a while now, since the Halo 3 days, and I think the thing, even since my time, we've been really good about is working with players, working with the community. It's something we take pride in. And on this game in particular, yeah, we brought people in, players in much earlier into the process than I think we ever have before, and it's given us really good insight. You know, we tell them when they show up, be brutally honest, because that's how we learn, that's how we understand what needs to change, what needs to get better, and I think it's been really great.
That's been a ton of fun. I mean, even again, like these folks were all here last week. You guys were in there with them. Some of you playing as well. What was it like?
Oh, it was super exciting. Yeah, I mean, like when you have a lot of there was a combination of players who we've been engaging with for a long time, and some players who were brand new, and it was great to see sort of like the mix of the both. Especially when you got to some higher level skilled players who just joined in and immediately got it and started destroying everybody, like Tens, and Lupo was in there, and but yeah.
I heckin' love
you
Tens.
had some pretty awesome moments, didn't you?
Yeah, so it was pretty amazing to jump in, and I'm gonna throw Nick under the bus for a moment here. Like apparently he was on the team with
Thank you for
Brian
subscribing
and
with
Jeff
Prime.
Keighley, and they were not having success. Y'all were like destroying them, the creators. Yeah, he's
Malignant
probably
AI
the team
also
that was
subscribed
destroying
with
them.
Prime.
So I was brought in as like a hired gun.
Thank you, Warmostees and Light Tower. Spaceman Spliff resubscribing as well.
Thank you.
I did my job.
Very kind of everybody. Crowd Astro resubscribed. And also just followed, which is really cool.
Mission accomplished, love it, yeah.
Something that he's used to, obviously. Also, though, you were saying you were observing a little bit as well, maybe not playing quite as much. What was it like
sitting in the
from your
cup chair,
perspective, getting to see all these folks jump in and play the game for the first time, some of them?
I mean, it was awesome. It's awesome, like playing the game for so long, right? And seeing other people play the game is just a great feeling, right? For like the whole team. You get to see things that you designed for happen, and in real life, right? You see people who are like being hunted by other players that take refuge by like we're a heavily fortified area, and watching the UESC.
That does suck, Sabretooth. It reminds me of during the
there was another fight that was like it looked so fun,
Call of Duty Cold War beta,
really, like, it was like
or the preview event
really tense
for the press.
There was two crews that were fighting under
and
dire marshmallow.
I was playing against actual Call of Duty pros.
Fighting in the tunnels, and the fight was literally
what are we doing here?
3-3, like constantly moving towards each other and fighting in the hallway. The person in the front dropping meds for people in the back and changing positions, and that fight went into like little vents.
Yeah,
as well.
It was
So
me
like
and
this,
Andrea
like,
Renee,
it was
just
this
celebrity
hilarious chase
fodder.
That was like it was super tense because
we're just getting destroyed
you didn't know
by
exactly whether you're going to get third
Call of
party.
Duty
They were
pros.
just, the volume of the room kept on going up from those two crews because they were just like, where are they going to get flanked? There's another vent right there that could pop up from there. And they were shooting vents just like out of
no creator
paranoia.
character.
It was awesome to watch.
It's a good balance to strike, obviously, yeah. And you, again, we were mentioning you got to play. Were there any other creators you got to dive in with?
Yeah, I was on a team with Valkyrie and Katamina, and we had a lot of fun. There was like a couple moments where we bunkered down underneath a greenhouse in the tunnels underneath. Tunnels are dangerous, and they were fun. But we basically created like a little claymore nest down there, and so we were baiting them down into it. And yeah, it was pretty successful. I'm telling you, the claymore strats are good. Yeah. Don't sleep on claymores. They're
Pretty
good.
solid.
Yeah.
Lars is like, I know.
Yeah.
So even in addition to these creators,
No, I've heard of it though, Michael Demos. I've heard of
legacy
Dead Zone
Marathon's
Rogue.
Community goes so long and so
Haven't tried
so
it,
far
though.
rather. As someone who's played a lot of Aleph 1 in the past as well myself, back on my Titanium G4 PowerBook so long ago, bringing in the Aleph 1 team was really, really exciting. You guys got a chance to work with them as well, isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting to sort of connect to the heritage of Marathon, right? Like to keep that alive as we're sort of building this new world. And so working with the Aleph 1 team has been really awesome with the Marathon Classic on Steam.
God, I'm so glad there's no...
As well as the Marathon Classic 2, I think, is on Steam as well.
Call of Duty movement.
But yeah, both of those, it's like sort of connecting the threads, if that makes sense, Sort of remembering the past as we're sort of building this new, re-envisioning in a lot of ways of what Marathon is.
Yeah. Actually, kind of on this topic as well about the dangers of the world, we do have a question from Twitch chat. Are there dangerous PvE encounters? Obviously, you've mentioned that the UESC is
Pixel Mima gifting out 5 subs.
At your own peril, but
Thank
can you tell us
you
a little
so
bit more about
much.
maybe some of those emergent threats that await players?
Yeah, absolutely. There's the UESC security units that are out there. There's a bunch of
Sweetheart.
different types that do different things. So watch out for them. We also have ticks, which are these wonderful, surprising, explodey fauna.
If you gotta give
Yeah,
us
they
up, say
run at
thank you. You don't have to watch
They
ads
run
for
at you,
30.
explode on you, and you have to like, shoot the nests actually to get rid of them essentially. Otherwise, they'll keep coming. And there's a bunch of hazards and stuff that are like gonna be on the map as well. Like we have a bunch of like tox rooms and all kinds of surprises that await players. And yeah, in the alpha there's a few, but
what's
we got
the
a lot.
scariest UESC unit to you?
The scariest unit? The Ghost Commander for me, for sure. The Ghost Commander, their ability is like they go into active camo and they actually have clones.
Oh, yeah,
and
they
bunch
showed a
like,
lot of gameplay
clones that go out
location.
there,
We're
so
gonna
you
be
think- You're not
rewatching
sure which one to shoot. And
a
then
decent amount
by
of
the
it
time
once
you
this is
recognize
done.
which one is actually the real one, right? It's like it may be over for you, but that's one. The sniper, also love the sniper as well.
Yeah,
We
I
really
agree
wanna
with
have
that,
these
Tom.
full-on sniper fights,
I'm with you there.
against the UESC.
I wish they showed gameplay while they were chatting right here, similar to the way they got to get Barrett over there for B-roll, you know?
Of these units, tread carefully.
Not to be trifled with, right?
And the recruits, honestly, the recruits, they have this rush down that they do. If you're not too careful and knowing where they're going to be flanking you and rushing you down from, like, yeah, we're purposely making them these formidable foes that you can't get treasure out of the world easily, and they're guarding it, and they're doing a pretty damn good job.
You can't ignore them either. Once they're on your set, you kind of got to figure out a way.
Yes. Exactly.
Also, too, we've got another question from, I believe, Shebsky. Can a team be composed of any number of runner types, like 3 Blackbirds, for example?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
There's no restriction on how you assemble your crew. You can all play the same. You can create a meme comp if you want. Or you can diversify a little bit, you know, and sort of try to use each other's utilities. But we've seen them all. It's been really cool to see kind of the different combinations we've seen. Yeah.
But you may never know, like those 3 different like players that are playing Blackbird, they may have very different.
You got into the
builds of
Marathon
what
Discord? Hell yeah.
They're gearing towards in Blackbird, right? Like they may be some of them, like one of them may actually have implants that allow them to go in active camo. That's not a specific thing for a runner, so we're purposely trying to
none of
make it
these
so that
videos are in
you
4K.
can diversify.
I did see the shield wall comp, which is like basically 3 locusts in the playtest from last week. But yeah,
let's go. Yeah.
Oh no, this one
so,
is.
You know, again, obviously, it's been so much fun to hear you guys even talking about this game and the experiences you've had. You've been building a world that's really ripe for players to tell their own
I'll
stories.
let them keep talking as I
again,
watch
with the closed
this.
alpha on the way on April 23rd, as players finally get a chance, some of them, to jump in. What are some of the stories you're most excited for them to get to dive in and maybe tell themselves?
So many. I mean, there's so many different stories that I think are that we're looking forward to seeing happen, especially ones that we've never even seen before. But
so
getting onto the
clean.
planet, like honestly, just trying to survive amongst all of the different threats that exist there. The dying, you know, when our trail says death, it's death. You know, there's a lot of death in the game. The learning from it, the challenging yourself, the getting back up and trying to do something new. It's gonna be exciting. I'm sure there's plenty of other things.
I'm curious, Mr. Cross. What are you expecting?
I mean, I'm have the fortune to launch Destiny and now Marathon. It's always amazing to put something out into the world that you've been working on, you know, sort of in a bubble for 6 years or something like that, and have the players experience the visual world for the first time is amazing. Introducing the IP into the world, you know, sort of beyond the game, you know, sort of the culture it creates. Always excited to see like what the fans tell us what the game is and what the metas are and what the IP is, and so
oh shit, sneaking through vents, that's
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, check out the Discord. It's getting wild in there right now. Wits, how about you? Anything come to mind on your side?
I'm just really excited for folks to discover the content and play with it in interesting ways. We've been making this meal for a bit. It's just time to see folks play, right? Like we've been making the sandbox for a bit. We've been working together on all the activities and everything in the world, right? It's just going to be exciting to see people react to it organically and learn from it.
Yeah. Very exciting.
I'm also curious to see which runner will be the crowd favorite. I have theories.
I know you have many theories.
Yeah.
Many theories.
Chat, Discord, let us know. We'd love to hear what you guys are thinking.
Absolutely.
But that brings us to just about the conclusion.
Yeah,
of
what
what's
does
been a very
2893
action-packed show.
mean?
So for starters, guys, thanks so much for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and thank everybody out there.
We'll watch. We'll continue this as they end it, and then we'll watch the
cameras here and
the other larger
amazing.
video.
Like, you should give yourselves a hand, for putting together.
Oh, that's the year 2893.
Also, there's an immense amount of staff here that has been super gracious and kind to come and help work with us on this. So just want to make sure.
There's a merch giveaway happening on Twitch.
You've been doing.
There's a merch giveaway happening on Twitch. Type an exclamation point answer if you're in Twitch to try to win.
That's right. So again, as we noted at the top of the show, coming up at the very, very end, we've got a very special surprise. So go ahead and do yourself a favor and stick around all the way through till the end. But again, a huge thanks, Joe Ziegler, Joe Cross, Andrew Witz, and Lars Bach. And thank you all for being here today. And of course, again, to echo Ziegler, thank you so much to the entire dev team here at Bungie. Thank you so much for being here today. Whether you're here with us in person or you're at home, it's your contributions that make Marathon possible. So truly, thank you. It's honestly humbling to be here today. And again, of course, the crew here,
yes.
Thank you all so much for all of your hard work. It's been incredible seeing this stage come up so quickly, rather. So thank you so much. It's been a gargantuan effort, and it's all thanks to your efforts. And most importantly, again, to all of you fine folks out there for joining us today. It's such a privilege for us to get the opportunity to share what we've been working on, and it matters most when you show up and join us. We know you have busy days, and we're thankful to be a part of it. So thank you for joining us here on this Saturday morning. And of course, we got something fun at the end. Make sure you stick around for a little bit longer. We're going to be rating Scarrow and Mr. Raffle Waffles, Milo, out there here just after the show ends. So go ahead and tell them we said hello when you get a chance to drop into their chat. But as has become kind of a tradition here at Bungie with our streams, we've saved just one more special thing here for you.
One more thing.
Now, we've told you a lot about the game so far, but we haven't had a chance to really touch on the narrative just yet. And we're really excited to build a story that's innovative in the extraction shooter space, both in and out of the game. And we'd love to show you a glimpse of that now. So we've had the opportunity to partner with Academy and Emmy Award-winning director Alberto Mielgo to go ahead and show you just a bit of a snapshot of what life is like on Tau Ceti. So we hope you enjoy, but in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you all Starside.
The K-Bottoms won the merch giveaway. Congratulations. Click that link. It'll only work for you. Yeah, they're not rating me. What the fuck, dude? I'm about to play Gears of War 3 after this. About to play Gears of War 3 in an hour with Ray and Stillback Mike and Alana Pierce. It's the year 2794. Flamin' Hot Fries have been outlawed, but Flamin' Hot Cheetos run the world. I can't tell if this is real or not. No, it's not real. It looks so unbelievably crazy, though. Oh, people have diarrhea from the Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Yeah, it's like Love, Death, and Robots type shit. Oh, what the fuck was that? Death Stranding type shit. Oh wait, is it actually the Love, Death, and Robots person? I think it might be. Oh, it is. Oh shit. That's awesome.
I met a traveler from an antique land who said,
damn, Ben's
vast and trunkless legs of stone.
Ben's star in ASMR. Ben's ASM star.
Half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that it sculptor well those passions red which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things.
There's the goddamn article from Tam. Everybody click on the article. Right now, god damn it. Turn off your ad block on it too. This looks wild.
Welcome once again.
And part of me is wondering, is it up on their main page
I mean, it feels just like what it is.
in higher res? Holy fuck it is. Holy fuck it is. Yes. Yes.
Come on. Tell them.
Your shell repair.
Yes.
Welcome once again. Once again, once again. How's the new shell? How's the new shell feeling? I mean, it feels just like what it is, right? Like $1 trillion. Like $1 trillion. Sakaguchi Genetics sent a reminder. Your shell repayment is coming up and will be charged against your line of credit. Yeah, I know. Do you mind if we skip the formalities this time? Got a big contract waiting down there, so. Understood. Let's proceed with your grounding exercise. Are you familiar with this item? That's my lucky charm. Yeah. It's supposed to be my lucky charm.
This is fucking sick, dude. This is awesome.
Can you identify her? Yeah, that's my mom. That's your mother. Your mother. Now, consider this. Do you recognize this child? Who are you? I don't know. It's you. What? Really?
How long did it take to render all of this? Yeah, we're just watching a Love, Death, and Dude, this is it's 8 minutes. We're halfway through it.
Hey, what's that you always tune into? Worth anything?
I don't know, but I like it. It speaks to me.
Let me listen.
Yeah, go ahead.
You ever wonder what happened to these people?
It's not my business.
And this music is. You'll have a tough time finding a buyer.
Good. It's not for sale. Give it to me.
Oh, shit. Fuck, the way the hood came back up. Oh, man. Is that Adam Jensen? Shut the fuck up. Cartwheel was unnecessary, but you're a queen, so it doesn't matter. Wow, that camo looks unbelievable. This is fucking crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, the cartwheel's the spinning guy in Boba Fett. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Holy shit, this is so cool. Oh shit! Adam Jensen's gonna save her. Oh, never mind. Fuck. He's gonna avenge her though. Yeah, the chappy bots are the PvE part. Yeah, those are all those and there's different levels to them. There's a variety of different enemies.
Ozymandias, king of kings, look look on my works, ye mighty, and despair.
Ozymandias. Oh, it's Ben Starr. Oh yeah. Oh
shit! Of that colossal wreck. Round the decay of the boundless wreck. Boundless, alone and level sands stretch far away.
I love the filter they have on these shots to make it look like a lower quality handheld type device. You're so right, Vids. This is Ben Starr's world. We're just living in it.
Do you recognize this child?
I don't know. Is that me?
Are these the credits? Wow, that was awesome. That was so fucking sick. That was so cool, man. That was like wildly good.
Once again.
What I'm gonna watch now is the freaking gameplay overview trailer. Can't join their Discord. Apparently it's been hard. Apparently not a lot of people have been able to join. We have their gameplay overview trailer that I was watching when my stream died and OBS died, and that was kind of annoying. So let's watch it right now. But now it's in 4K.
Marathon is a team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4. You are a runner, a cybernetic mercenary who's given up their human form for a biosynthetic shell with unique abilities and stats, capable of both tactical and fast-paced combat. Here you'll fight in a crew of up to 3 players across a variety of zones and points of interest. You'll face rival runners in zones of up to 18 players, countless security forces, and otherworldly threats to scavenge the remains of a lost colony for glory and fortune. The environments of Tau Ceti 4 are filled with weapons, materials, and equipment you can scavenge throughout the map.
There's such a good shading quality to everything, to where some of it gives me a cell shaded sort of vibe. Like these hard shadows right here. And even like on her cape, it's kind of hard to see, or I think that's fabric, right? Like some of these shadows are a lot harder than they should be, and it's giving me some cell shading vibes.
Before deploying, you'll strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure you're equipped for the run ahead.
It's so cool, man.
Your objective is simple. Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for grabs. Survive, and your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault.
Dude, look how, like, it's little things like the personality of having cool fonts is one thing, right? But then I should change also the highlight. We'll change it to red. There hasn't been a whole lot of red here. Just a simple little thing. It's like such a non-issue, or such a non-thing of just, here's a little pixelated sword, a little 8-bit sword to show the weapon but it's just like cool. I love that.
Inevitable, but it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet and outplay your opponents. And in your next run, you and your teammates will be the ones coming out on top. And even if you're down on your luck, factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight. Bungie brings its best-in-class first-person...
Even right here, you see the... Oh, no, that's just two-tone. That's not cell shading. That's just the color of her clothing, I guess. Yeah, even on the arm and stuff, yeah.
Best-in-class first-person multiplayer action to the forefront.
It's beautiful.
Dynamic and tactile gunplay. Runners with unique playstyles and customizable builds create highly dynamic and strategic team fights. Whether you're on a zero-to-hero run or high-rolling with powerful gear, you'll need to use your best judgment when you decide which fights to pick.
I love this dude just sliding in, just full man. First off, I just happened to pause at this moment, and the look of the gun is so clean. God damn, dude, their hard surface designers are unreal.
And how? Because
I didn't get the dude.
You'll need to use your best judgment when you decide which fights to pick.
See ya!
Because no matter how geared you are, players with skill and strategy will always have the edge.
Arc Raiders looks a lot better, IMO. I love the look of Arc Raiders. I got to play Arc Raiders.
With contextual pings.
It looks great.
Objectives.
Different art style.
Down but not out. To streamline playing with your friends. Death is not the end.
Much more realistic in terms of how it's doing.
You can overcome the
lighting
odds
and
to
shading.
revive your teammates and get out with your hard-earned loot. And if you believe your skills alone are enough to conquer any challenge, we give you the freedom to opt out of crew fill to take all the glory for yourself as a solo runner. No two runs in Marathon ever play out the same. With dynamic events, variable weather, and unpredictable players, you'll have to adapt on the fly if you want to survive. Each run has
Is this Bensar? It sure is.
And anything can happen while you're chasing your objective. Looking to unlock upgrades or increase your faction reputation? Slip into the shadows as Foy and ghost past your enemies. Search the map for rare materials and profit opportunities without being discovered. Want to push enemy teams and steal their loot? Bring in Glitch with agility implants and your strongest weapons to disrupt rival crews. Running support for your friends, grab extra equipment, shield charges, and a specialized backpack to be the lifeline they need.
Damn, dude.
You're always free to experiment with team compositions, and the only limit to how you want to play your runner is your loot and imagination. Endgame challenges, ranked play, discovering secrets, seasonal storytelling, community events, and more all await you in Season 1, where you and your friends will start.
Ranked play is really where I'm like, what does that look like? And I wish they got into that a bit more.
To unravel the mysteries of Tau Ceti 4. Remember,
did Ben tell you about this beforehand?
From your next big score.
He told me he was excited for people to see it. But I wasn't sure what he meant by that. That looks so freaking good, dude.
Team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4. You are a runner. A cybernetic mercenary who's given up their human form for a biosynthetic shell with unique abilities and stats.
I'm too old to get into extraction shooters, but watching any of the gameplay is going to be ace. And that is kind of where the whole discussion... that's kind of where my thought process goes to, is
capable of both tactical.
I would prefer much more of a PvE element. I think a lot of people may echo that sentiment as well. Because it can somewhat feel like a fruitless endeavor to just like you get more loot. Do I risk taking it out? Like I still need the hook of going after the big bad. I still need the hook of going after the large big boss that is a the ultimate story boss or whatever the hell. Like I wish it was still formatted in that way. I almost wish that I almost wish there wasn't like a set number of there will be 18 other players on the map or whatever. I kind of wish it happened a lot more infrequently and a lot less randomly, or a lot more randomly. I think it would have been a lot cooler to have the enemy team similar to a Dark Souls game. Everything comes back to Dark Souls, but similar to when you're playing a Souls game and you get randomly invaded, how much that sort of, oh fuck. And I'm not saying like maybe it's an invasion, but maybe it just happens to be that there's another team in the server with you, another 2 teams in the server with you, as opposed to like they are a constant threat, because that can discourage a lot of more casual players, I think. Yeah, they said up to 18. But I just think of the I think of the casual player who is an adult with a full-time job and kids, and this just may not be their game. This may not be for them. For somebody who's like, yeah, I went in and lost all my shit to like some cracked ass team. I'm good. I'll go play somewhere else. Paid $40 title. Well, I have an article here that I can read from Timur Hussein that everybody should click and give the article more clicks. I've been trying to distill my thoughts and feelings about playing Marathon into something easily communicable, and I keep coming back to Season 6, Episode 13 of The Simpsons, in the episode titled, "And Maggie Makes 3. Homer learns that he's become a father for the 3rd time, and in response, reacts with a despondent thumbs up and simultaneously acknowledges that something good has happened, but that it also creates the potential for stress, hardship, and maybe even disappointment. I hate to reduce playing an alpha version of the next game from the team behind Halo and Destiny to a reaction meme deployed by millennials in group chats, but the accuracy of what Homer sad thumbs up.jpg conveys is undeniable. After around 8 hours of gameplay where I faced off against developers, content creators, and members of the press, I left Bungie's Bellevue studio keen to play more of its high-stakes PvP/VE multiplayer game. And at the same time, I couldn't deny that I had serious concerns about the experience that its compulsive gameplay loop is couched within. Putting it plainly, I'm worried Marathon could launch as a solid multiplayer shooter that is brimming with potential but thin on content. And the dog-eat-dog world of multiplayer games, that could be a major issue. Even if its alpha stage, what made Marathon so compelling was immediately evident. It just took one match of running, gunning, looting, and extracting to identify the core of the experience. Leverages Bungie's pedigree as its best-in-class first-person shooter developer. As longtime Halo or Destiny players can attest to, there's a satisfying texture in the moment-to-moment gameplay that makes Bungie's games hard to put down. The satisfying thump of a melee kill, or the glee that comes from sticking an enemy with a plasma grenade that carried Halo through multiple generations, and deep loot-based progression layered on top of that gives Destiny a gravitational pull that's hard to escape. Marathon has all of that, but within the framework of an extraction shooter. For those not familiar, this is a relatively new flavor of multiplayer shooter that takes the thrills of PvP and marries it with the tension of Battle Royale to create a game about dropping in, grabbing resources, and then making it to an extraction point to get out with the goodies in a single life. Most of the individual components of the genre are familiar territory for Bungie, but what makes it appealing for the team is the highly engaging risk versus reward format that treads some new ground for the studio while also leaning to the PvP roots that helped make its name. For us, the opportunity of the extraction shooter really comes from 2 parts, said game director Joe Ziegler. One is that we have a team that's very excited to build it, and we also have this idea of how do we create the next step of Bungie that also harken back to some of the PvP roots that Bungie originally had with Halo and that of the sort. I think if you told me
Streamline playing with your friends.
that
Death is not the end.
this was
And if
Helldivers,
standing, you can overcome the odds to revive your teammates
I'd be way more excited about it.
with your hard-earned loot. And if you believe your skills alone,
And I think it is the ever-present threat of another team that makes things really exciting, and those are like the unplanned.
no two runs in marathon ever play.
Those are the unplanned emergent gameplay moments that are really easy to.
Adapt on the fly.
Those are like really memorable gaming moments that you can have.
Each run has a time limit, and anything can happen.
But it can also
Objective.
get old quickly.
Or increase your faction reputation. Slip into the shadows as void.
And that's been my experience with extraction shooters. And that's,
Search the map for rare materials.
different strokes for different folks, right? Some people main Tarkov, and that's the only shooter they play. And that gameplay loop is perfectly fine for them.
With agility,
For me, I'm worried about
your strongest weapons.
that PvP aspect. When you are relying on other players to create content for other players, or not create content, but create gameplay experiences for other players, in a game where maybe people are expecting more of a PvE experience with it being Bungie,
Endgame challenges, ranked play, discovering secrets.
that could let some people down.
Storytelling,
I think
events and more.
it has a lot of potential. I wish that some of the surprises we had today were more story based, were more single player based.
Remember, you're only
Those player names, Cosmo and John Marathon. What's a hook that's supposed to keep you coming back to extraction shooter? Extracting with a new scope? I mean,
and fill your vault.
kind of, yeah.
Death is inevitable.
Now, them mentioning there being weekly story events and the fact that there are seasons make you think that there will be more and more computer-based enemies. One thing I saw recently was that the dungeon crawler PvE VP game, Dark and Darker, if y'all remember that game, they're coming out with a strictly PvE mode, which I think is super cool.
Their human form for a biosynthetic shell with unique abilities and stats. Capable
And hopefully this is the one to stick for me. Hopefully this is the PV, I hate saying PvE. It's like we need to say something else. It just takes too long to say.
You'll face rival runners in zones of up to 18 players, countless security forces.
I wish it went deeper into what I'm saying. I wish it went deeper into what I'm extracting and why. They mention materials, but never what to do with them.
The environments of Tau Ceti 4. Weapons, materials, and equipment you can scavenge throughout.
Well, I guess you could play to low skills saying that seems reductive. What's the point of playing battle royales? Well, you play multiplayer games to have a multiplayer experience. I just fear that for people that hop into this expecting something else and then maybe getting shit on by a team immediately, that can be really, that can be really discouraging, I think. PvA, PvAll, I like that.
But it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet and outplay your opponents. And in your next run, you and your teammates will be the ones coming out on top. And even if
Upgrade guns and take out lower geared people. At least that's why people do it in Tarkov.
so you can get right back into the fight. Bungie brings its best in class.
It's official, $40 at launch, September 23rd.
Dynamic and tactile gunplay, runners with unique playstyles, and customizable builds create highly dynamic.
Yeah, and that's totally true, P3YJ. If you're simply looking for a PvE game, you will never be happy with this game, and I think that's totally true. And I think it's all about, like, being willing to embrace the PvP element for sure. Because there is so much fun to be had there. And there's a lot of fun for people like me who are content creators, who love, when you streaming stuff like this, there's a lot of excitement to, to immediately just get destroyed by another team or to beat another team and, you know, kill them. And that's such a thrilling feeling, you know. The thing that makes Helldivers 2 so cool is how both Arrowhead and the community create awesome emergent moments that are part of a broader ongoing narrative. I need that hook for a live service game to click with me at this point in my life, I think. That's also something that I think you need to have from day one of your development. You got to have that built into your studio's DNA. That's such a hard thing to kind of latch on to the last second, you know, in order for it to be taken seriously.
Your objective is simple. Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for grabs. Survive, and your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault.
I at least hope that the UESC or whatever they're called, like the bots in the game, I hope that they get progressively crazier and cooler, and there's some really cool big enemies to take on, and then maybe you get third party by another team, but that's just kind of part of it, you know. I just hope to have some cool, a reason to want to go back out there, you know, a reason to want to, like, all right, we got to go take on that big boss because homegirl NPC back at the base needs us to get their part to upgrade something, you know. And those missions were kind of neat. I enjoyed those missions in the Cycle Frontier. Those were fun. Will this be free to play? No, $40.
Because no matter how geared you are, players with skill and strategy will always have the edge.
The Cycle had this format and it died to cheaters. Bushy, what do you think of this? Because you are PvE VP, PvA, PV all, right? I love the Cycle for what I played also, Bush. I didn't play a whole lot of it, but it was the only extraction shooter that I've played in my off hours, where it's like I'm not even streaming it. I'm not playing with anybody. I just hopped in by myself and had a good time with the Cycle. Arc Raiders does come out this year. Arc Raiders is really cool. Arc Raiders has some awesome PvE enemies that you end up fighting that I really enjoyed. Love the look of look. I love the genre, but the market for casuals, I don't know how they are gonna do it. If anyone can do it, Bungie can. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I was talking about it earlier, how Blizzard at one point had a survival game being made, and they were making a survival crafting game that eventually got canceled recently. But I was super stoked to see what does AAA polish look like on a survival game, because you always get a bunch of kind of undercooked early access titles in the genre. And I'm just excited to see Bungie's take on the genre. I'm excited to see the powerhouse that is Bungie development and visuals and like just design ethos, how they can put their mark on the genre.
Before deploying, you'll strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure you're equipped for the run ahead.
Early access survival game is often a huge red flag for me.
Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for grabs.
Barista brand, no, it's a extraction shooter, PvPvE. Not a PlayStation exclusive.
But it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet and outplay your opponents. And in your next run, you and your teammates will be the ones coming out on top. And even if you're down on your luck, factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight.
I agree with that, Bushy. I definitely agree with that.
To the forefront. Dynamic and tactile gunplay. Runners with unique playstyles and customizable builds create highly dynamic and strategic team fights. Whether you're on a zero-to-hero run or high-rolling with powerful gear, you'll need to use your best judgment when you decide which fights to pick and how. Because Because no matter how geared you are, players with skill and strategy.
Let's hear this.
I've gotten to play somewhere around 75 hours of Marathon. That's across 3 different builds. But I've played a ton of this game. And in this video, I want to talk about things I love about it. I'm going to talk about things that I'm not really that hot about, and I hope that they change or improve. And then I want to try to answer some questions that I saw a lot on Twitter or in chat. I'm recording this well before the showcase, so I'm not really sure what exactly they're going to go over, so I apologize for any redundant information. But I do just want to clarify something real quick.
We're full ADHD mode right here.
Bungie and paid a couple of times to play this game. Now, the objective of that was not to have us tell them, oh, you're making the best game ever or anything like that. It is so we, and like me and other creators, can provide brutally honest feedback about the game. They were much more interested in what we didn't like versus what we did like. And I can confidently say, over the 3 builds that I've played of this game, it has gotten significantly better. And talking to people like Lupo and Hidden Xperia, who have been playing it for years, it's the same for them on a much larger scale. Bungie is taking feedback for this game incredibly to heart, and they're taking it very seriously. So if I say anything about the game here that maybe you're not a fan of, let them know on Twitter or on Discord. If enough people say something or say that they want a feature added, it's very likely that they'll address it in some way. I've seen it literally in real time as I've been playing over the last couple of months. So, if you're excited for Marathon, make sure to subscribe, but let's get into it. There are a ton of things I love about this game. A, it is absolutely gorgeous. It's an extraction shooter. It's very high stakes.
Because I'm kind of running out of time,
at every point
and I gotta get Gears of War ready. I'm putting it at 1.25 speed.
I'll be running across a field or in the middle of a marsh or through some trees. And there have literally been times where I'm in the open and I'm just like looking at the skybox. It is a beautiful game, and hopefully you've seen that by now in the gameplay that they showed, and some of the trailers and in the footage I'm showing on stream. It is an absolutely gorgeous game. The lore of the Marathon universe, it's very dark, it's very gritty, it's very good. All of the different factions, they play a huge role in the game. It seems like this is going to be a very narratively driven game. And that means that even if you're not the biggest PvP player ever, I think there's something for you here. I think there is genuinely an amazing world to uncover and discover here. You don't necessarily need to know the old Marathon lore. The people in-game don't know the lore of the original Marathon. A lot of these first few seasons are probably going to be us like uncovering what happened between Marathon 1 from 1994 and Marathon 2025. That's going to be a huge part of the narrative. I'm certain of it. And it's going to be a very fun ride to put together. And that plays into a lot of things in the game. There are a lot of secrets and stuff that I'll talk about a little later that I think are the secret sauce that really set this game apart from things like Tarkov. Let's talk about the gameplay first, though. It is an extraction shooter. Teams of 3.
Presumably, these are the NPCs that are giving you contracts.
Marathon 2025. That's going to be a huge part of the narrative. I'm certain of it. And it's going to be a very fun ride to put together. And that plays in.
Which kind of bums me out. No, absolutely not. I'm not familiar with Marathon lore. This kind of bums me out because one thing I really loved about the cycle was that you had a home base.
To a lot of things in the game. There are a lot of secrets and stuff that I'll talk about a little later that I think are the secret sauce that really set this game apart.
3D model NPCs
let's talk about the gameplay
walk up to.
It is an extraction shooter. Teams of 3.
Gave it the feel of a single player game, you know.
Numbers of teams on them usually ranges between like 4 and 6, I think, depending on the map. But it is like primarily a PvP game. And if your entire team dies, you do lose everything that's on your characters. The PvE enemies at this point are mostly just like robots for the UESC. And they are brutal. They are very aggressive. They will mess you up very fast. I died to them quite a few times the first time I played Marathon. They will absolutely destroy you. It's a hard game, I'm not gonna lie, but it is a beautiful game, and the gameplay feels so good. It's got that classic Bungie gun feel, especially things like the snipers and the SMGs. Just so good. You'll see me in almost all the gameplay using a sniper called the Long Shot, which is amazing. It's up there with the best feeling Destiny sniper rifles easily. And an SMG called the Bully. That is my favorite gun across everything that I've used. I think I've used every single gun. That is easily my favorite combo. Long range, short range, it feels great.
I want to hide out where I can craft things, upgrade machines. The abilities are really good. I'm going to make a separate video on the 6 runners. I'll talk about them here, made me enjoy the cycle more than I would have.
I will break them down in depth in that other video. which I'll also have a link down in the pinned comment down below. But there are 6 runners, and I kind of think about them kind of like Black Ops 3 specialists, where gameplay across all of the runners is pretty much the same. You can use any guns you want. Most of the mods and implants, which are kind of like the things that modify your skills and abilities and stats and stuff, they're universal. There's a couple that aren't, especially as you get higher up in the loot rarity. But for the most part, like 80-85% of your gameplay is going to be pretty similar across all of your runners. They do all have like a super or like a prime ability. They all have like a secondary ability, and then they all have 2 passive abilities. So they can shape the game quite a bit, especially in terms of like movements. But for the most part, I wouldn't worry about this being like an Overwatch style hero shooter or anything like that. The game just feels like Marathon, regardless of what character you are on. I will say the movement probably a bit slower than I would like. I kind of think about this being much closer to like Halo movement with sliding. It's not as fast as Destiny. It's definitely not as fast as something like Apex. Significantly slower. I think it could be boosted up. That's been a lot of my feedback that I've given every time I've played. You do have like an overheat bar, so you can only do so much sprinting or so much sliding or depending on your character, so much advanced movement. I think that needs to be like tuned back a little bit and give players should be allowed to be faster. I've been told that there are upgrades, like as you go through the game, there's an upgrade system that you upgrade like your account, not your characters or anything. And it doesn't matter if you die or not. They're permanent upgrades to your account for the season. But when you unlock them, it does things like increase your heat capacity or like your stamina bar. It makes you faster. It gives you more health. It increases your revive speed. We played with a little of those things, but I've never been able to really play enough to upgrade it all the way. But I think at base the game could be a little faster personally. But overall, I think the gunplay feels great. The characters feel great. The looting loop is very fun. It's very Destiny-like, where there's gray weapons, green, blue, purple, and then gold is like the best of the best. They don't have fancy names, I don't think, like in Destiny. They're just kind of called their colors. I think. I haven't noticed otherwise. But the interesting thing is like your guns, it's not like you find a purple gun. You can, but really what dictates the rarity of your gun is putting like those color attachments on it. So you can start with the gray gun and put green attachments on it. And there are 4 attachments for every gun. There's a sight, a magazine, a barrel, and a mod, I think. And they all pretty much do what you expect them to do. Mods sometimes like alter things about the gun. And so you can start with a gray gun and you can put green attachments on it, and then it'll upgrade to green at some point, and then you can put blue and purple attachments, and you can really progress your gun much different than Destiny. Backpacks increase the amount of loot you can carry. Those go all the way up to gold. Implants, cores. So implants are more like reduce fall damage and like character specific stuff. Cores are base modifications to gameplay. Your pings last a little longer, or if someone downs you, they get pinged. That sort of stuff. So you have 5 slots to really upgrade your character. Most of them are character agnostic though. And it just feels really good. The looting loop is great. You can loot different POIs. They all give you different stuff. So field maintenance, for instance, gives you a ton of weapons. You can go to the far right side of Marsh and go to Complex. It gives you a ton of shields. There are certain locations that give you character upgrades. There are certain mini events in the game that give you weapon attachments, that sort of thing. I'm going to have another video coming out very soon about the looting structure, going more into that, because I know that's something very specifically people are interested in. So I'll kind of leave it there for now. There is a lot of build crafting though, and it's really exciting to a level of like you can really if you want to spec into a knife character, you absolutely can do that.
Oh, Fran Mirabelle's gonna go crazy.
You want to spec into grenades, you can probably do that. It's pretty insane.
How many teams are active each match?
Very fun. The game is
They
brutal.
keep saying
it's very
up to
hard,
18
but
players.
You can be very powerful,
so that would mean
very
6 squads of 3. Up to 6
Shadow agrees
teams.
with that, I guess. Now, the last thing I want to talk about that I really like before we get into things that I'm not so hot about in this game.
Puiseco, thanks for getting out of sub.
It seems like there are going to be a lot of secrets.
Oh,
now,
map dependent, okay.
I don't want to say too much. A, because I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say. And B, because I think this is going to be something that's going to be very exciting for the community to discover. And actually for C, I don't know if I said 2 reasons or not, but for the 3rd reason is because I actually haven't seen that much of it. But the Marathon ship map, I think, is going to be very exciting. I hesitate to call it raid-like in terms of Destiny, but it is definitely like...
Sorry, I was answering your text.
But the Marathon ship map, I think, is going to be very exciting. I hesitate to call it raid-like in terms of Destiny, but it is definitely like... you are trying to solve puzzles and secrets and find out hidden lore and that sort of thing. Maybe more on scale of like a dungeon while you are in the midst of PvP. that sort of thing is going to be the secret sauce for this game. I think there are aspects of that on other maps as well. But it makes me so excited. All I want to do is go back to the ship and solve the secrets and fight the enemies and stuff. Hopefully you'll hear more about that very soon. I also think it seems like they're going to be kind of leaning into more like live event or dynamic map stuff as the season progresses, to lean into lore and that sort of thing. I'm so excited for this. It is a very mysterious, secretive world, and Bungie knows it. And the ARG stuff, I think that's just a taste of what we're going to be getting as the game progresses through seasons, especially like in game. And I'm very excited for that. So we shall see. Now the things that I'm not feeling so hot about, or I didn't like, or I hope they change. There is no solo mode. And for those of you asking, there's no PvE only mode. I don't think they're going to budge on the PvE only mode. Like, they very much want this to be a PvP game. It makes sense. Like, does Bungie really want 2 PvE focused live games? Like, no, clearly not. I do think, however, there should be a solo mode. In one of my playtests, we did a solos night where me and a bunch of creators and some devs, we all loaded in solo, and it was chaos.
They said on stream you can go in solo.
Balancing issues with this they've talked about. Everyone was on Void, which is like the character that can go invisible, of course, if you're solo, because you can't screw up or else you're done. The enemies aren't really balanced for solo play. The loot isn't really balanced for solo play. That being said, I hope they work on it. And I think if there's enough pushback, they will. It is awesome. A lot of the people I've talked to, creators and devs, absolutely love playing solo. It's just not currently in this build of this game. There's no proximity chat.
He means everyone in the lobby is solo. No teams allowed.
Pretty much in the last feedback session I left, it was the number one.
So you could go in solo, no fill.
All the creators were like, you need to add proximity chat.
There's no prox chat.
I think there's some legal issues there. But other games have gotten it to work, and I think it's something that Bungie absolutely needs to get to work, whatever the reason is. And I think with enough pushback, they will absolutely get that to work. So provide that feedback that you want proximity chat. Currently, there's quite a low diversity in enemies. Mostly they are USEC robots, and there's a couple like ticks and stuff like bug creatures. I think that's going to change as we progress through the seasons and as we start to figure out what happened during the original marathon games, and we get to hopefully fight things like the 4. But currently, all the AI are pretty much the same. There's diversity in USEC. There's snipers and there's chieftains or what have you. Like, there are definitely more powerful and less powerful ones, and there's guys with shields and that sort of thing. But I would, in a world that has the lore of Marathon, I really hope that they continue to expand, and I think they will. But it's just something I want to hit on here. And once again, I think it could be a bit faster at baseline. So those are my main cons. A lot of people are asking about microtransactions. I really don't know. I know there will be cosmetics in the game. A lot of the factions have cosmetics tied to their quest line. So one of the main things you do in this game is like you go to a menu, you activate like a bounty or a contract with.
Yeah, see, this bums me out a lot. And I think maybe it's because the cycle was my first kind of PvE game. And it just made me expect that a lot of these games would have a home base hub to walk around as your character and talk to NPCs, and there's a shopkeeper who's like, hey kid, I need you to go out there to get me the sparkle leaf incubators or whatever the fuck.
Certain factions. So, there's Mida, there's USEC, there's Traxxas, there's Arachne, there's New Caloric, and you pick like what you want to do. Go to this specific map, do this specific thing for this faction, level up rep, get some rewards. As you level up your factions, you get higher upgrades that you can unlock for your character, the things we were talking about earlier, but you also get huge lore dumps, and they are
it's not a huge deal breaker, but it is a bummer.
Some of them, they are very well done, and they're still in kind of the alpha first take phase, so they're only going to get better. The lore of this universe is insane. I cannot harp on that enough. So overall, it's a tough game. I think it'll be an adjustment for people, and not everyone's going to like it. Just like hands down. Not everyone's gonna like it. I would say if you like PvP at all, I would give it a chance, because even if you die a lot, you can still make a lot of progression in the game through like the upgrade system and the contract system and learning the lore and helping solve the secrets and that sort of thing. It is brutal. It's very hard. It's going to be a learning curve for a lot of people, including me. I've never played an extraction shooter previous to this, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time. I genuinely cannot wait to get back into Tau Ceti and play more. But I hope you enjoyed this review. It was a lot of fun to put together. I'm going to go work on some other videos. If you have any questions, let me know.
This is cool. This is a good video. I'm going to hit you with a subscribe right there, Scarrow. Never heard of you, but you're a very big shooter creator. Shout out to you. That's cool.
Maps have...
This is cool. This is exciting. Oh, click the thumbs up. Duh. Duh. Gotta click the thumbs up. Duh. Spam that shit. Okay. Okay, more info. No procs chat. No Let's get to a dark part of the video. It's even worse, Andy. Just trying to get like a dark gameplay scene. We'll do this. Change the font color. Okay. No procs. Raid like puzzles? Not really like raid mechanics, but raid like puzzles. Which kind of reminds me, honestly, of being in a, you know, back in the day when I really gave a shit about the Fortnite Battle Pass and I was playing Fortnite a lot. And you'd be having like, oh, I'm trying to do this thing while other teams are trying to like destroy me. A bit like Halo. Speed. It doesn't look like it says Halo. I think he was talking about the traversal section of Destiny dungeons and raids with the jump puzzles and stuff. I mean, I hope so. I hope so. Hajo. I need a replay of how the cave was written. Okay, this is interesting. I mean, I'm playing it regardless. I'm going to play this. It's all about, can it hook me to stick on, which is hard enough to do for someone in my line of work who's always playing new shit and rarely has time to go back to the old favorites. You know, I constantly want to be playing Marvel Rivals, and I haven't really had a whole lot of time to get back to that. But I'm stoked for this. If anything, just to see, I think early on in some of the gameplay looks, how awesome the guns look, how awesome they sound. Going against rival squads. I hope Bungie makes this a genre that I really, really kind of get super sucked into, instead of just, you know, play it for 10 hours and then drop off, which is kind of what I do for a lot of games anyway. Where the hell's the hate coming from on the trailers? Oh, I don't know. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of hate here in our communities, on YouTube or Twitch, but I thought the trailers looked fantastic. I freaking loved them. I love the way the gameplay looked.
So over the past...
I really loved the way the environments looked. I'm excited. I'll say that I'm excited. But it totally makes sense for people to be like, I don't know, man. Kind of bums me out that it doesn't have this and that. Like, I still think the extraction shooter is still a very niche type of genre. And explaining it to people who are either used to first-person shooter campaign multiplayer games or co-op first-person shooter games like Destiny, or even playing co-op in Halo or you know, that's one audience. And then you got the multiplayer audience that's used to arena type games or battle royales. That's a completely different audience, right? And people know where they want to be and know where they want to spend their time in. And this is, I mean, obviously you had Call of Duty extraction mode and stuff, but I don't even think, I mean, they gave up on that. So I don't really even think that they were really convinced that they could make it work. Here's a tweet from Marathon will be a premium title. Marathon will not be a full price title. We'll announce details this summer. So I gotta assume $40, probably, yeah. Console still has a place for the great extraction. Yeah. I totally agree with you, Jakey. But again, it is such a niche genre. Have you seen or heard of Beautiful Light? No, I haven't. Beautiful Light. A tactical horror game. Tactical extraction horror.
Extraction shoot. You might.
Yeah.
You print in the.
I've been hit by a nade. I'm dead too.
No.
Oh my god, that was insane.
Should be right here. He's dead.
Careful, grenade.
Nice.
Grenade.
Where's the grenade? I didn't see a grenade.
I heard one, yeah.
Thought I heard. Yeah. Okay, maybe Okay.
Gonna go for a res here.
Where does the horror come in? They got like monsters and stuff.
Do A1 right there.
You can play as the monster and hunt the other players. And oh, okay,
A1's
interesting.
done. Next.
Little evolve, yeah.
Oh.
You have, for example, took on this map, you will be able to improve its value and extract with it again. So basically, it's high risk, high reward.
That's interesting. Bit of a gamble. Here it is. But no one came for us.
It being free to play brings up more red flags than $40 IMO.
I'm glad we didn't fight the monster.
I think that I think you could be positive and negative looking at it from both ways. Also, bit of an update. Gears of War is delayed a little bit where Alana has her internet out, so we're gonna see if it pops back up for her. Yeah, I think you can look at the free to play or $40 thing and be really positive and negative both ways on it. For me, Bungie charging $40 or a premium price. We don't have a confirmed price, but it's not full price is what they said. So I wouldn't say expect 70 or whatever. Maybe it's a Game Pass thing that you can get with Game Pass and PlayStation Plus or whatever. That is a nice thing, Big Bad Beluga. You know, it's rarer that people that want to cheat and want to really fuck up people's games would pay $40 for that. And then I think that charging $40 for a multiplayer game that doesn't necessarily require a massive player base. I think that's one of the pluses of a title like this. This isn't an arena shooter. This isn't a battle royale. if you have one of those titles, if Bungie was making one of those, I think paying 40 means that you're more than likely dead on arrival. But because it's a PvE game that can maybe have, or it's a PvA. Let's go with PvA. Because it's a game that you will be fighting a lot of the NPC enemies and other teams will be in the area with you. I think that means that you can, you aren't necessarily dependent on having this massive player base. But then if you're Bungie, you still want people buying your game, you know? Yeah, less cheaters in pay to play for sure. PPPVA.
Marathon is a team-based extraction shooter set around the mysterious and cutthroat world of Tau Ceti 4. You are a runner, a cybernetic mercenary who's given up their human form for a biosynthetic shell.
Happy Marathon release day to you as well, Danome.
Capable of both tactical and fast-paced combat. Here you'll fight in a crew of up to 3 players across a variety of zones and points of interest. You'll face rival runners.
Futon J, thank you for resubscribing.
Countless security forces.
And thank you, Elite Chavez, Chooch Gray, Trigrumps, Puiseco, Dad Vice. A lot of people subscribing using Prime on me. Dragonheart for a lot of first timers also.
The environments
thank you, gamers.
Are filled with weapons, materials,
Tejas Ben.
You can scavenge throughout the map.
Crowd Astra, first timer.
Strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure
BJ Sailing, a first timer. Getting locked and loaded to the Nitro Rifle Association.
Gather as much loot as you can and make it out alive. Die, and all your gear will be up for grabs. Survive, and your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault. Death is inevitable, but it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet.
As I'm trying to purposely be devil's advocate to like, what are the drawbacks to something like this? And I think I've come up with plenty, and we as a community have come up with plenty of where are the weak points here? Where are the weak spots in the armor? And as I'm watching this, I'm still pumped up. we should call them Tarkovskys. That's fucking good. Mr. Showtime, that's fucking great.
And even if you're down on your
Later,
luck,
Bushy. Have a good one, dude.
factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight. Bungie brings its best-in-class first-person multiplayer action to the forefront. Dynamic and tactile gunplay. Runners with unique playstyles.
That Mario Rivera, Ennui Dread, Quiz the God, Dummy Thick Furry, subscribe for 2 months.
Whether you're on a
Please be good, Bungie. Fucking Destiny has drained to be, please.
You'll need to use your best judgment when you decide.
Thank you, Wink Fan, Lord Pretty the Flacco, Demetrios, Matt Bowers, Rai Owens, King of Rebels.
Players with skill and strategy will always have the edge. Marathon is designed to be played in
Is that Statham? No, that's Mr. Benjamin Starr.
shared objectives.
Oh my god, it's a megalodon.
To streamline playing with your friends. Death.
Dominic Toretto. You don't know me,
Last one standing.
but you're
You
about
can
to.
overcome the odds to revive your teammates.
Noxim, thank you for resubscribing. The Uncharted Wolf, a first-time subscriber.
Believe your skills alone are enough to conquer any challenge. We give you the freedom to opt out of crew fill, to take all the glory for yourself. As a
Opt out of crew fill, yeah.
give you the freedom to believe your skills alone are enough to conquer any challenge. We give you the freedom to opt out of crew fill, to take all the glory for yourself as a solo runner. No 2 runs in Marathon ever play out the same. With dynamic events, variable weather, and unpredictable players, you'll have to adapt on the fly if you want to survive.
Would you ever
run
hop
has a
back
time
into
limit,
Destiny 2?
And anything can happen.
I
while
only
you're
hop
chasing
back into Destiny whenever there's like a big old thing to do. Whenever there's like massive expansion type of deal.
shadows as void.
Otherwise, I don't really have time to
Search the map for rare
exist in
materials and
a
profit
in an
opportunities
ongoing game, you know.
discovered. Want to push enemy teams and steal their
because there's always the nature of my job is to always try to be playing something new to talk about.
running support for your friends.
And that's cool, and that also bums me out sometimes because there are plenty of times I want to play more, you know,
You're always free to
Monster Hunter. Overwatch is something I've been wanting to get back to for about 2 years now. It feels like I've missed like the last 6 new heroes in Overwatch.
Secrets, seasonal storytelling, community events, and more all await you in Season 1, where you and your friends will start to unravel the mysteries of Tau Ceti 4. Remember, you're only ever one run away.
Chat, what if we did like a Final Fantasy 14 online stream one day? Captain America. you know, I don't know. I was just throwing it out there. Captain America. What if we got into Final Fantasy 14? Get Mike in? That's what I mean. I mean Snowbike Mike, myself, and other players hop into Final Fantasy 14. Just similar to when we did the World of Warcraft. That one time that we played Permadeath in World of Warcraft. Just one of those type of streams. But I know the story is so sick. Dude, what if we got Tim in as well? Oh my god. It would be so hard to focus on the story, though, with being in a multiplayer party. It's a commitment. It's like 500 hours. I get, you know, I can't think of 2 more combative statements that are just so antithetical to each other. Me going, yeah, the nature of my job is to always be playing the newer things so I could be reviewing them and talking about new games, and going, what if I played Final Fantasy 14? The goddamn devil on my shoulder. Oh, there was also somebody who asked me, Andy, do you think that Rematch is a day 1 game for you? Dude, Rematch, I had so much fun with it, but I don't think I will play it unless they offer full controller remapping. That game hurt my hands. And everybody knows carpal tunnel. Nerve damage. That game hurt to play. The sprint being on the left bumper and then defense to the trigger, it just sucked. Mouse and keyboard didn't feel great for shooting, though. Once I got used to the shooting, I was like, okay, this feels good.
Countless security forces and otherworldly threats to scavenge the remains of a lost colony for glory and fortune. The environments of Tau Ceti 4 are filled with weapons, materials, and equipment you can scavenge.
How'd that happen, Andy? Okay, Zero. I don't need you getting into my personal life, okay? Have you tried Marvel Rival Season 2 yet? No. But maybe that's something we hop into. I don't know how long I'm going to stay live. I think I'm just going to stay live until we go with Gears of War 3, unless we just fully cancel Gears of War 3. But so far, Alana's internet is still out, and she said she'll keep us updated.
Death is inevitable, but it's never the end. Think quickly on your feet and out.
I'm an injury-prone gamer. I'm like, hey, look, I'm Anthony Davis out there, you know, AD.
And even if you're down on your luck, factions can sponsor you with a fresh loadout, so you can get right back into the fight. Bungie.
But I saw you messing with the controls. It did have different control schemes, but it didn't really change a whole lot. Sprint always stayed on left bumper.
strategic team fights. Whether you're on a zero to hero run or high rolling with powerful gear,
I also have an ankle problem like Steph Curry. Steph Curry and I are very similar people. Extremely good at three-point shooting, both of us.
and strategy will always have the edge. Marathon is designed to be played in crews with contextual pings.
I'm curious what percentage of the audience comes to Kind of Funny for game reviews. I love your news coverage and reaction content, but don't really care who plays what. But I may be an outlier. Because we are personality based, I still feel I owe it to our community who, you know, as small as we are compared to the big dogs, people come to us because they know what games we are into and know whose tastes that they align with. And so that's why I try to play as much things as possible to kind of better inform people of their buying, of their purchases, of things that they want to buy. If they go, man, I really, you know, of anybody on the Kind of Funny crew, when it comes to these sort of games, I usually align with Andy's taste. I always like the stuff that he likes, and I don't like the stuff that he doesn't like for the most part. And if he doesn't like that, then that means I probably won't like it, so I won't buy it. And that's usually, you know, we're not IGN where we're just going to put a number on a thing and be you know, for the most part, to the general audience, a faceless person. For people that are into the gaming industry, people know the reviewers at IGN, right? But for the most part, there's a large audience out there that has no idea that different people review things and then go, how the fuck did you give, you know, Penguin Season 1 a 5 out of 10, and then you gave Ghostbusters a 4 out of 10, but you gave that show an 8. So these are different people with different tastes reviewing different things. And for us, we are so personality based, and they come to us to go, well, usually I don't fuck with Andy's tastes on this genre, and if he likes it, then maybe that means that I wouldn't like it. Or I love Tim's tastes when it comes to platformers, so Tim likes it, that means that I probably will as well, you know. Tam says I only fuck with Andy's taste, to be honest. Thank you, Tam. It's high praise. I like Greg, but I can't lie, his gaming takes are just not for me. I feel like I've probably disagreed with Greg the most on stuff in the past.
Before deploying, you'll strategically build your loadout and select a runner to ensure you're equipped for the run ahead. Your objective is simple. Get in, gather as much loot as you can, and make it out alive.
Fuck Greg, alright. Nah, man, Greg rocks. I'll never say anything negative about Greg because all the focus is on Tim. And I don't need the heat right now. I don't need that heat. It's all on Tim.
Think quickly on your feet and outplay your opponents. And in your next run, you and your teammates.
I love how like terrible I am at Game Showdown that I really just am a spectator. I'm just watching the show along with the rest of y'all. It's really fun. But for real though, check the fucking stats. I was really good at Kind of Funny. Check the goddamn stats. Check the stats.
Runners with unique playstyles and customizable builds create highly dynamic and strategic team fights.
Check the tape.
You're on a zero to hero run or high rolling with powerful gear.
Oh, we're kind of talking about everything now, Andre. I really enjoyed Rematch. I think it's very hard. I think it's gonna, as somebody who generally doesn't play soccer games or football, I really vibed with it, and I think that I enjoy it for the reasons why people wouldn't enjoy it. I enjoy it because it is hard, and because this sort of directional aiming and it being less snappy means that there's, I think, a lot more opportunity for randomness and a lot less opportunity for perfectly planned plays where if I look at said person, the ball's going to go directly to them. Because there is such a dynamic nature to it, it makes everything a lot less certain of what can happen. And that means that, like, you know, because it is so, it's not the game where if I hit L1 triangle, I'm going to pass it directly to my L1 triangle teammate. It feels like there's a lot more opportunity for surprises. And I think that makes it a lot more fun. And a reason why I like it a lot more, because I think that means, I guess, any game that can beat the, like, there is no meta narrative, or any game that can beat there is a meta narrative that everybody has to follow this meta if you want to win. If your game can somehow, you know, rise above there being a meta in your game, I am so down for that. Because I think that's one thing that always kind of bothers me with multiplayer games, is as soon as the most hardcore of hardcore TikTokers and YouTubers discover the meta and discover the math of what is more, what the most successful course of action is, that's when I start to fall off, because I'm not watching those TikToks and YouTube videos all the time. And that means that I'm going to be losing a lot more if I'm not following exactly what needs to be done. So I enjoy that there's a bit of randomness to it.
Your loot can be taken into future runs as you grow in power and fill your vault. Death is inevitable.
Yeah, it's a lot more chaotic for sure, Mega. But my hands hurt. Like, I feel it, dude. I need if they get full button remapping, and again, people in chat made a great point about the ReWASD program or whatever. It's just like, I hated sprint on left bumper and then going to defense and then going, like, it just didn't feel good. Matt Effect Games subscribe with Prime. Did you know that if you have Amazon Prime? No, I'm off. You have Twitch Prime. That was terrible, dude. Holy, I was so off there. I'm embarrassed. Thank you, Matt Effect, for your Prime gaming. Did Bless enjoy it? Bless did enjoy it, yeah. Bless had a good time with it. My full VOD is up from yesterday on YouTube in 4K. How's the Valorant team been doing? I think we're on a bit of a break. I'm sure we'll get back to Valorant. We just needed the break, man. We just needed the break, because here's what happens in our Valorant squad, right? Our Valorant squad is a bunch of bronze 3s, silver 1s, and then we had Eric, who hit gold at one point, but I think dropped back down to, like, maybe silver 3 or something. We have a bunch of, like, not great players, and then Eric, who hit gold at one point. And then what happens in our Valorant league is we play against people that we legitimately would face teams where it's like, all right, our team has 2 bronze players, 2 silver players, and 1 guy who peaked in gold, but now he's back to silver 3, so we'll call him silver 3 for now. And they'd be like, that's our squad, and we would play against, oh, cool, a bronze player, oh shit, a platinum player, and a gold. How the fuck are you putting us in the same lobbies? And it just sucked, man. It just sucked. Tan, maybe you are the X Factor. Dude, it just sucked, dude. It was so discouraging to get our asses whooped and then look at their rankings and be like, why are we facing them? Why are they here? YouTube. Thank you for watching. I'm going to end the YouTube VOD right here because I'm just yammering. We're not even talking about Marathon anymore. But thank y'all for sticking around. I'm going to stay live, though, because I don't know what else to do. I'm going to stay live, probably boot up a video game. Maybe we'll just keep talking games. But if you enjoyed this, click like, subscribe, and leave a comment for the algorithm. Let me know. Are you looking forward to Marathon? What was your favorite thing about the Marathon reveal and your least favorite thing about the Marathon reveal? What are you going to eat for dinner? What's your top 3 games of the year so far? A lot of questions you can answer. We'll see you later, YouTube. I love y'all. I had to end that VOD, or else it would have been about 9 hours long.